Greetings, fellow homesteaders. Rhadamant here. Thank you for tuning in to Medieval Dynasty. Episode 2, Building a Little Cabin for Myself. So I think the cabin I build for myself isn't necessarily going to be on top of the cabins that I build for everyone else. So, select build mode. The building hammer can be used 6 different ways. It enables you to build, repair, destroy, add or remove insulation, and move buildings with all objects inside. The build mode is selected while holding the hammer. So if we hold the hammer, as you can see, we can... Here's all the build modes. And then I want to build a simple house. So let's explain a little bit the benefits of different house types. When you build a house, this doesn't really apply for you yourself, but it will apply for any NPC that is in the house. The level of insulation that the house has, above 50%, increases the mood of the occupant. Which means wattle houses made of sticks suck. I basically skip wooden and wattle houses and go straight to stone houses, because stone houses are the best, they're the sturdiest, they require the least upkeep, and they keep the people most happy. It's a little bit more expensive to build a stone house, but I think it is worth the investment. So, it is our house. I think I want it like right by the water's edge. That sounds like a super sweet place to live. So if I want to build a house, let's say right here. Awesome. To start the foundation, I need 10 stone. All right, if I open up my inventory and sort by weight, what I might end up doing is... Well, let's try to go back to here and add... No, not storage. Containers. I don't have any building points. I'll be talking about that in a bit. Wicker baskets. Yeah, maybe what I'll do is I'll quickly make a wicker basket just to drop some of the stuff I have off temporarily, so that I can put more things away. Oh, I need 10 sticks, not 8. And I am going to build myself a small cabin. So what happens at bad mood levels? Your villagers will work less efficiently. And at good mood levels, they will work more efficiently. And it's a very significant bonus. So keeping them happy is like important-ish. Alright, so we have a little wicker basket. It can hold 15 kilos, which is going to be really, really helpful in lightening our load. So the spare copper hammer's going in there. All the dried meat's going in there. The bucket's going in there. The wicker crate's going in there. All of the straw, the berry wine. One of the 2 torches. No. Oh, yeah. Okay. The bag. And this is going to allow me to carry a lot more on me, so that I can collect resources for building the house. Oh, so here's an example. This potion of instant healing has 9% left. It's basically mostly spoiled. Okay, so this wicker basket is just about full. And that's going to allow me to collect stone and not get super over encumbered. So I need 10 stone for the foundation. Before I go any further, I want to explain the relatively unique skill and technology trees. So there are a few different skills. There's extraction, which is mining, digging, cutting down trees. There's hunting. There is farming and ranching. There is diplomacy, which is like questing and trade. There is survival, which is like fishing and temperature sensitivity and poison resistance. And then there is production, crafting, sewing, cooking, smithing, that kind of thing. When you use the skills, you gain skill points towards it. And then there's technology. There's building technologies, survival technologies, farming technologies, and production technologies. And the way these work is when you are using skills, you only level up yourself. When your villagers or yourself are using technology, you're leveling up. Which means that, for instance, if I had a giant farm and I had a bunch of villagers farming, they would be leveling up my farming technology, unlocking higher level farming buildings. I could do the farming myself, but there's only so much farming that a player can do. So this is, the technology is the summary of everyone in your village contributing. So if you want, for instance, to get access to better farms, you don't have to do the farming yourself, you can delegate to a villager. All right. I've got some of the stones. So we'll start this foundation off and then seek out the remaining stones. So the big stones here that are at the river's edge aren't the kind of stones that I would collect for it. Oh, there's yet another wagon with apples and oat beer. And limestone with a bronze pickaxe? Hell yeah! That's what I'm talking about. Let's put that at 8. Early game pickaxe, hype. That's going to be super useful. Okay, so the foundations are in. Next up is 8 logs for the framing. So, there's different types of trees. Oh, well, let me just read this. Cut down a tree, you will need to have an axe. The tool can be bought or crafted. Better axes can be crafted in the smithy. Put an axe in the quick slot, approach the tree, cut it down, chop it into smaller pieces, acquire the logs. So, about tree cutting. Maple trees are the most wood-dense trees. I don't want to cut down the maple trees immediately around my base, though. I like the aesthetic of having trees around, so I'm going to leave those trees there. I instead am going to travel a little bit further away and cut down these birch instead. The tree comes down, it can harm you. So don't let trees fall on you. Then cut it twice. First is cutting off the sticks and collecting feathers from birds' nests, and the second is collecting logs. These stumps will regrow a tree after a year or two, but if you don't want the stumps, you can dig up the stumps with a shovel. Now, stumps will block you from building, so when you're trying to clear land for farming, it's going to be important to dig up the stumps because you're not going to be able to put a farm down if you have stumps. So to that end, I wanted to keep the maple trees immediately around my base, but I do know that I will be, adding farms to my town. So to that end, I think it wise to start to clear the maple trees across from my home so that we have land that we can develop and put farms on. So maple trees, as you can see, the birch gave me 2 logs plus the stump was a third, and these maple trees are a wee bit better, as there was 4 logs plus a stump gives me 5. At the top of the map, you can see a little like daisy or flower, and then the meter, and that meter is how many days that are left in spring. So, we're coming to about a third of the way through spring, meaning the end of the first day of spring. And then in your map here, you can also see this day 1, time of day, season, year, and then we'll get into this stuff later. Oh, you really didn't fall down, did you? No, don't land on me. Jesus. Alright, so that's 10 logs, but I'll collect all of them. I don't want to leave them out here. And I can't move an inch. I'm encumbered. I'm going to drop all of my sticks, stones, and now I'm just under max encumbrance. I'm still allowed to move though. The teal is the parts of the building that you haven't done, and the green is the parts of the building you have done. So there's the framing. So now we can do custom builds here. So if I wanted the door, houses can only have one door. Windows also don't reduce your insulation, so you can have as many windows as you want. So if I wanted to put a stone wall with a window right next to the door, I could do that. It's no problem. So I think what I would like is windows that face the water. And not worry about windows that face the cliff. So here's the home. So let's use the logs I have and fill in some of the logs. Done. All right, back to cutting down trees. Yoda is bouncing around behind me, isn't he? Now, on the bottom left, we have a green, which is my stamina, red, which is my health, orange, which is my food, and blue, which is my hydration. And the reason I'm letting my food go down a lot is one of the foods I have in my wicker basket is an oat roll, which gives 65 food. So I'm just letting myself get particularly hungry so that I can eat an oat roll. And it's telling me food is essential for survival. And when you're depleted, you will start losing health. So don't run out of food is the TLDR of that little tooltip. And I am becoming slightly encumbered. Oh, I'm trying to hit that with a hammer. That's not correct. I also just got a maple seedling off that maple, which allows me to potentially grow one, which could be useful for me to put in strategic locations for beauty or whatever. And what I want to do is so the roof here right now is a tile roof, and I don't have the capacity to make planks. So I'm going to edit the roof and make the roof a thatch roof, because I can't make tile roofs. Thatch roofs are the least insulating, tile roofs are the most insulating, and then there's the wooden roofs that are in between. Ideally, I want the most insulating for everything, everywhere, all the time. But in this case, I just don't have access to be able to make planks, so I'm going to have to put that aside for now. And we need just a little bit more timber to make this work. But before I do that, let's go to decorations, maple tree, and maple tree E, and stick a maple tree here. There we go. We have a little baby maple tree. And it will grow big and tall and be in our backyard sometime in the far future. Trees do not grow quickly in this game. Okay, as we have been leveling up our technology, our building technology, we just unlocked a well, which provides hydration for your villagers. As we build in different, in the different tech trees, so if I was building a hunting lodge, I would build up survival technology. If I was building food storage, I'd be building farming technology. If I was building a workshop, I'd be building up production technology. We will, we'll be gaining technology points, which unlocks buildings. All right, we got the attic in. And then the last of the logs in the roof. If I'm not mistaken, all the logs we need have been collected now. All right, the straw roof needs 8 straw per section, and there's 4 sections, so 32 straw. But we did bring 26 straw with us, so I'll just use some of this 26 straw and then collect the rest from the reeds in the river. The insulation values of your houses matter a whole lot less in spring and summer and autumn. It's mostly a mechanic so you don't freeze to death in the winter. And this will be explained once we get villagers to start. But essentially, your villagers will have food, water, and wood demand is for heating. So the more insulated your houses, the lower your wood demand, which means it's easier to provide the fuel to keep them warm. So I just need 6 straw from the reeds here. 2, 3, oops, those are sticks. 5, 6. And I am just trying to offload as much as I can into the box or the wicker basket just to lower my carry weight. I'll also hook up poison arrows in my quiver. So now that what's left is stone, a considerable amount of stone. There's multiple different ways to get stone. For now, I'm just going to be collecting it from the ground. But eventually, you will get it from mines. The reason I'm not getting it from mines right now is, well, actually, I'm adjacent to a mine, so maybe I'll do a little bit of mining after I do a little stone collection. Because the stones on the ground are just, like, quick and effortless to collect, which makes it just an easy way to get a leg up on your building. But eventually, most of your stone will come from mining. And there's different types of mining in the game. There's also a lot of plants in the game. I just picked chicory and daisies, which are going to reduce my food and water needs. Chicory for food makes you less hungry. Doesn't really fill you up, but it slows down your hunger decrease. And then daisies for water. But water's not a big deal because I live next to a river, so water fulfillment is just so very easy to fulfill. Man, you're brave. So you can see it coming together. And then here is a placard where I can assign it to myself. I could basically hold E and self-assign to myself. And then if I open up the house itself, I can rename it. So once it's constructed, I can say like Rad's house or something akin to that, which allows you to know who lives where and that could be pretty useful if you're trying to seek out a specific villager or court someone to marry or inspect them for their skills or gear. Now, I don't have a means to cook, level up survival. Alright, so let's take a look at the survival tree. I leveled up survival just because I've been, like, picking things off the ground. And the 3 skill points I have access to right now at tier 1 is survival knowledge, gain more experience from survival activities, insensitive, which gives me more temperature tolerance, and iron liver, which gives me more poison resistance. I'm going to go with survival knowledge. Basically, I want to level up faster. And almost every skill tree has something equivalent to leveling up faster. And I just don't see a reason not to get those specific level ups. So over here we have some sort of like old fishing camp with cabbage and salted fish meat. And coin and apple wine. I wasn't really out here to loot. But while I'm here... Oh, and a bunch of fishing spears if we want to go fishing, which... Ha! No. But maybe a villager will go. In the future. Now, the reason I don't necessarily want to go mining right now, even though I did settle right next to a mine, is we're going to end up with a lot of ores, and I don't really have a good place to put them. My inventory is like damn near at capacity. I could make more wicker baskets, but I don't want to like be littering up the area with wicker baskets. That gets annoying pretty quick. It's better to actually have proper resource storage, which we are working towards. All right, I am almost fully encumbered, so let's go back to the house. Aviator and the Slim. And Dastardly Dave, yeah, thank you all for, and JD, thank you all for gifting out subs and resubbing. And hopefully all of you subs will get, people named after you. Well, not people, you can't rename villagers, but like, you can name your kids or your ranch animals. I think it's almost time for me to eat that, oat roll, too. I'm getting mighty hungry. Now, the player doesn't really need to sleep. So I'm not all that worried about sleeping. There we go. And now my food bar is almost fully full, as you can see. Wow, my face does weird things when it's green, huh? Which is why I waited as long as I did. Because one of the benefits of the oat roll is it also gives us a stamina bonus. So we, as you can see, if we mouse over it, we use less stamina when we consume it. So early game, when you are just doing a lot of heavy lifting and running about and collecting stuff and building stuff, having a stamina buff is kind of nice. If there's any features that you feel like you would like elaborated upon, feel free to ask. Provided that they're like at least vaguely relevant as to what I'm currently working on. Yes, for those that don't know, you can in fact adjust how many days there are in a season. I left everything by default, but here in the customized game, you can see that there's a lot of options, like length of day is one such. So if you want longer seasons or shorter seasons, it's totally up to you. With that said, crops are seasonal, and changing the seasons will change like the grow times of crops. So you'll have to adjust your farming schedules at the very least to accommodate for that. All right, so I need 1 stone there, 4 stone, and another 4 stone. So 9 stone total, and I think this bad boy will be done. And one of the advantages of living near... Now, there is a bit of a disadvantage of living not near like a really dense forest, which acquiring wood is going to be a little bit trickier. I'm going to have to do a little bit more travel for gathering wood, but it's not, I don't think, a huge deterrent of settling here. But one of the advantages is foraging for supplies off the ground is a lot easier when it's not dense forest. As you can see, the forest, like that way, there's a lot more tree cover. And I just unlocked resource storage because of my efforts of building. There we go. The construction of the simple house is done. I can... Well, it is named to myself, but I can name it Rad's house. There we go. And then coming inside, we have a double bed and a simple bed. So in the game, the whole concept of Dynasty is that the player can get married and have children. And so can your villagers. So the double bed would be for like me and my wife, and the single bed would be for a single child. The other types of houses that you can build do have more bed slots. So if I go to the building here and go to the houses, the wooden houses and so I did the small houses, but the regular houses and then the bigger, grander houses have more space. They're more spacious. They have room for 2 kids. All right, it does come with a simple chest here, which has a storage capacity of 50. So what I'm going to do is transfer in everything that I don't immediately need on me in here. The next thing I want you guys to do is to decide what I work on next. I could improve the village, I could improve my gear, I could earn money, I could go questing, or I could do some viewer-suggested something. It'll be up to you. So pole is above my head. All right, wicker basket's gone. And I'm using my personal storage in here just to contain all of my stuff so that I'm not super encumbered. I'll keep an oat roll on me. A lot of the stuff I have on me would also be relatively good to bring to town to sell. I will add, but I am not about to head to town at the moment. But if whatever task you end up voting on does bring me to town, I'll make sure to grab everything that is worth selling from here and bring it to town as well. But there we go, the start of our beautiful home. And it seems to me like you guys want me to improve the village. Got it? So I'm going to talk a little bit about the next things that we can build. I did just gain access to a well. And a well allows a villager to work at it to fill containers of water, or with water, providing the hydration needed to meet water demand. Until I get villagers, that's not strictly necessary. And then I also got resource storage. Resource storage is sort of the stockpile. So there's 2 types of stockpiles. There's one for food and one for everything else. And the everything else resource storage is vitally important because villagers will only have access to what is in their individual chests or what is inside the resource and food storage. So if you don't have a resource storage, your villagers won't have access to like fertilizer or plant seeds or flax or tools or literally you name anything that is non-edible, they won't have access to it. So it's really important to get resource storage before you really start to expand your town. You only get 1 resource storage. Well, no, that's not exactly true, but for a village, you would only really need 1 resource storage and 1 food storage, but they're both going to be relatively equally important. The other thing is the resource storage is also a good place for you to drop off your like stone and wood and all that kind of stuff so that it's not filling my own personal chest because I don't need logs and stone in my personal chest. They're not like personal treasures or anything like that. So when you're planning to build resource storage, I generally like to cluster resource storage, and let's go through all the building types. So you have the houses, they're pretty straightforward. For extraction, you've got the well, the woodshed, which is like a woodcutter lumberjack, extraction, which is mining, and then the actual physical mine. For survival, you've got hunting, fishing, and herbalism. For farming, you've got the barns. So what a barn is it's a place where you can thresh grains, you can grind grains into flours, you can make fertilizer out of manure and animal feed out of like crops. You've got the farm shed. So the farm shed allows a villager to work on a farm to do the farming. You've got the windmill if you want to provide flour more efficiently than the barn's millstone. You've got farm fields and orchards. Then in the animal husbandry, you got different animals, which will be unlocked once we get some farming experience. In production, you've got your workshop. So workshop makes clay and wooden stuff. Smithy makes metal stuff. Sewing makes fabric stuff. Kitchen cooks food. And a tavern, brews. And then in services, you've got a market stall and builder's hut. The technology points for these things are so far beyond what I have access to that we're not going to be hitting them this stream. Like, no way that I'm going to hit 7,500 building experience, but still. And then storages. So in terms of the storages, I like to put the resource storage somewhere where it's going to be roughly central to where the crafting will be. Because one of the custom game options here is remote storage access. So if your resource storage is like in the center of your village, if you are within range of your resource storage, you can then draw from the materials within the storage. So for instance, if I have a woodshed lumberjack creating a bunch of logs every day, they're going to automatically add it to the resource storage, and then I can build with those logs without having to go fetch them. So that's a really important concept. So taking a look at our excuse me. Taking a look at the layout here, we have some really flat fields in this immediate area, which will be good for like farming and building houses and the like. But I think, just out of convenience, I want the I want the resource storage like close to my personal shed, because initially I'm probably going to be doing a lot of the crafting myself. Which means putting it like... I'd like to have it have stone foundations, to be honest. So it's a little bit... you can see the foundations here are logs, because it's slightly elevated, it's not flat, and the foundations here are stone. So if I want stone foundations, maybe I... place it... here. And what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to lay it out. Maybe what I'll do is cut down some of these trees. I'm trying to lay it out so that it's working in cooperation with the roads that already exist. Now you can eventually build your own roads. Like I can already build my own roads. But I'd like to use the roads that are here to make the village that I'm building seem more organic within its within the area. Oh, that wasn't a maple tree, was it? Oh, it was. Did I collect all the logs? I guess I collected all the logs. I didn't even notice. Maxie, thank you for the resub. Alright. I should have already updated my priority. Build, resource, storage. So a village without resource storage or food storage is one that's going to be, like, frustratingly difficult to maintain. They are, as I was saying, roughly the heart of your village. So they're one of the first two things that you should build. And I'm dropping my logs off in the box for now, so I'm not ridiculously encumbered. But the foundation that I'm initially going to need to build is going to be a stone one, so... Now, in terms of insulation, it doesn't really make any difference what the foundations are made out of. It's just like an aesthetic preference. Alright, so I have a better look at exactly how this is laid out. I'm going to go into third person, and we'll put the resource storage here. So let's drop off the remaining logs, or in fact, logs don't really rot. So if I want, I can just dump the logs on the ground, because I'm sure we're going to end up using them in moments. Once the foundation's done, we'll have the framing, and that will be a log-based project. So how many stone did that say? 12? And it's also worth noting the insulation benefit for your houses is not the same as the insulation benefit for like random buildings. Your houses need to be insulated, but like random buildings, there's really not an advantage other than an aesthetic one, as far as I know. So I don't really care about, and on top of that, so the way the resource storage works, at level 1, it's like made of stick, stone, straw, logs, and then as it levels up, you add more to it, and you can upgrade the buildings rather than have to build a new one. So you just drop a resource storage tier 2 on top of your tier 1, and it will just you'll just have to add resources to it to upgrade it, which is very simple and straightforward. Thank you for tuning in to Medieval Dynasty, which originally streamed live on Twitch as a marathon. If you have any feedback or questions for me, let me know in the comments below, but please keep in mind I've asked for no spoilers, so don't spoil it for anyone else in the comments. If you would like to catch a live stream of mine, Rhadamant.com has my stream schedule and countdown timers to upcoming streams. If you'd like to join my online gaming community on Discord, Rhadamant.com has a link to it, as does the description of this video. Thank you so very much for watching. Special thank you to my Twitch subscribers, Patreon patrons, and viewers like you that support the channel and made it all the way to the credits. Thank you so very much. I hope to catch you at next episode or an upcoming stream. Farewell, my fellow Medieval Dynasty players.